Harley-Davidson has revealed the Sportster 975, which will be known hereforth as the Nightster. Hold up, didn't we have a Nightster Sportster made from 2007 to 2012? Why yes we did. Okay, so Harley-Davidson is reusing a name from the past. It might be a fitting name after all. The original Nightster had low bars, short fenders, and a dark look, although not as dark as this new version in my opinion. Let's take a look at this model, and while I talk about some of the specs, I'm going to let you know how it compares to the new Scout Rogue, which is the latest Scout from Indian Motorcycle. This video is not going to be a complete review of all the specs, but I will do a video like that on my other channel, New Bike Mike. Link below, that video will be coming. Now let's get into it. Before we start comparing it to the Rogue, I want to talk really quick about 3 things that were a surprise to me. And let me tell you, I thought I had a pretty good idea what this bike was going to be. And I was pretty close. Or at least, I feel I was pretty close. But you guys be the judge. One thing I've learned after being on YouTube for 2 years, don't worry, people will judge you. First, the biggest thing I didn't see coming was the Airbox cover, which resembles a fuel tank, but isn't. Yeah, so this thing fills under the seat like a V-rod. That may seem like a crazy idea. Harley claims locating the fuel cell below the seat optimizes the capacity of the engine intake airbox, and by moving the weight of the fuel lower in the chassis, it results in a lower center of gravity for improved handling and easier lift off the side stand. If you think about it, it really does make sense. Some of the rally versions of the adventure motorcycles with really big fuel tanks strive to do this to improve the balance of the bike as well. The second thing was rider safety enhancements. I expected ABS, but I did not expect traction control system or drag torque slip control. TCS is going to help you maintain control and prevent excessive rear wheel spinning under acceleration. Now, for those guys who are looking to show off at the local burnout contest, don't worry. TCS can be turned off so you can still get your burnout on. DSCS is designed to adjust torque delivery, reducing rear wheel slip when you downshift and drop the clutch, which could cause the rear wheel to slide on slippery or wet road conditions. Or let's face it, when you screw up and go a gear too low and your speed doesn't match your gear selection when you let out the clutch. We know we've all done it at some point or another. The third thing was selectable ride mode. We get 3 ride modes, which are road, sport, and rain. Each ride mode consists of a specific combination of power delivery, engine braking, ABS, and traction control settings. The rider may use the mode button on the right-hand controller to change the active ride mode while riding the motorcycle or when stopped, with some exceptions. A unique icon for each mode appears on the instrument display when that mode has been selected. According to Harley, road mode is your daily use mode and delivers balanced performance. This mode offers less aggressive throttle response and less mid-range engine power than sport mode, with a higher level of ABS and traction control intervention. Okay, let's be honest. Most of us are going to run this thing in sport mode unless you're a new rider or someone who just rides conservatively. And there's nothing wrong with that. I am not judging. Ride your own ride. Sport mode. This is the one. Full performance potential of the motorcycle. Full power and the quickest throttle response. TCS is set at its lowest level of intervention and engine braking is increased. Yeah, that sounds like the one I want. And then we have rain mode, which is designed to give the rider greater confidence when riding in the rain or when traction is otherwise limited. To be honest, I'm going to either be in sport mode or in rain mode. If I'm out riding and the tornado is headed my way and I got hail coming down, bouncing off my face, the wind's trying to blow me sideways, and I'm trying to get me and my ride out of the direct path, you can bet I'm going to be riding hard and pushing the bike. But I'll probably put it in rain mode, trying not to get myself in trouble while getting everything I can out of it and not ending up in the ditch or blown over by a tornado. I know what I just described sounds like an exaggeration, but I've been there. Haven't you? If you have, tell me your story in the comments down below. Okay, let's jump through some of the specs and see how they compare. I saw a lot of comments during the announcement talking about how it compares to the Indian Scouts. Let's talk price, because we know everyone's going to focus on that first, right? The new Nightster starts out at $13,499 and ABS is standard. That's for Vivid Black. So let's look at Scout models that are comparable. So the all-new Rogue is in black with ABS at $12,400. And I know right away your reaction is going to be, see, the Scout is cheaper. But that doesn't make it apples to apples. The standard Scout in black with ABS is $13,399, which is only $100 less than the Nightster. So let's take a closer look at these differences between these models. The next thing everyone wants to talk about is horsepower. Remember, the Scout is 1133cc engine, and the Nightster is a 975cc. Yeah, the Scout has 100 horsepower, and the Nightster has 90 horsepower. So the Scout makes 1 horsepower for every 11.33 cc's. The Nightster produces 1 horsepower for every 10.83 cc's. The Scout also weighs 545 pounds for the Rogue, or 561 pounds for the regular Scout. And the Nightster is 481 pounds. Yeah, 64 pounds or 80 pounds more than the Nightster, depending on which model of Scout you're considering. So what does that mean when you're considering the horsepower difference? Well, the Nightster is 5.34 pounds per horsepower. The Rogue is 5.45 pounds per horsepower. And the regular Scout, well, you get the idea. The Nightster actually has a better horsepower per pound ratio, but in the real world, it's really a minimal difference. My point isn't that one of these bikes is better than the other so much as that the numbers alone are just numbers, and you really need to look at these motorcycles as a whole when someone starts talking about these kinds of numbers. The other specs that I found interesting when comparing the Scout to the Nightster was that the Nightster has a 4-piston front brake caliper and the Scout only has a 2-piston caliper in the front. Both are single in the rear. It's also worth pointing out that the Rogue only gets 2 inches of travel in the rear, and the regular Scout has 3 inches of rear travel, and the Nightster gets 3 inches of travel. The front travel is pretty similar on all 3 models. The Nightster does only get a 3.1 gallon tank, and the Scouts get 3.3. So while that sounds good, the Scout reportedly gets slightly less miles per gallon than the expected 52 miles per gallon that Harley is speccing for the Nightster. So again, it's about a wash. The gauges are very similar on the 2 bikes, with analog and digital combinations. Neither have cruise control. The ergonomics are different, with the Scout having forward controls and mini apes on the Rogue, and the Nightster has mid controls with low bars. But Harley has already released a forward control kit, which will run you about $600, and reach handlebars are another $100. And don't worry, there are other goodies available, including a velocity stack, a heavy breather, and passenger pillion, including little bits and pieces for the engine to dress it up. We should also mention the Scouts don't have those rider modes or traction control that I was talking about at the beginning of this video. You may think I'm trying to convince you the Nightster is a better option than the Scout. And the reality of it is that to me it is a better option. But that does not mean it's a better option for you. I actually really like the Rogue, and I'm not trying to dig on it, but some people want to use these stats that suit their agenda to say that this bike is overpriced or underpowered compared to the Scouts. I saw this going on during the Nightster reveal in the live chat, and it was really obvious that some people just want to hate on Harley Davidson. And that's okay. I really don't care, because I don't let their opinions sway me, and neither should you. You should look at the bike and decide which one is best for you as a whole. You do you. Ride what you like. I got no skin in the game regarding which brand you buy or ride. I don't personally care. Harley doesn't pay me to sell bikes, but I don't like seeing people push their bias agenda and only using the numbers that suit them. I hope I've been fair in my video in discussing the differences, and before anyone asks me which one to buy, I'm going to tell you to go ride them all and buy the one that your heart loves and that you can't stop thinking about, because it's about the ride and not the brand. I heard a saying recently that I really liked, that your vibe on YouTube will dictate your tribe on YouTube. So if you like this vibe, then consider subscribing. Stay safe, keep on riding, and we'll see you in the next one.